Hi, it's Rick. Once again here as an RV tech with Voyager RV in our PDI shop, and today I'm going to be discussing some of the electrical features of your RV. I'm going to be discussing firstly batteries, then I'll be going on to your converter. Thirdly, I'll be talking about the Shorecord, then I'll discuss solar panels and inverters. So without any further ado, let's get started with the batteries. Okay, so let's begin with batteries. First, there's three basic types of batteries that we use in RVs. This is a 24 series battery. A little bit bigger one would be the 27 series. And lastly, this is a 6-volt battery. I'm only showing one here, but you need two to make 12 volts. So the 24 series and the 27 series are both deep cycle batteries, which means that they take a long time to discharge, and they will give you a full 12 volts or simulated 12 volts up until the time that they are discharged. On the other side of that is that they also take a long time to recharge. So we're talking a couple of days to recharge these batteries. That's pretty standard for all deep cycle batteries. These particular ones that we put in our units are maintenance free. However, the 6-volt battery does have maintenance, so that's what I'm going to talk to you about first. So maintenance on these batteries is really simple. When they're sitting on your unit, you're going to want to check the water levels in each cell. So right now, the level is correct in here. It's below the fill tube, but above the level of the plates. When you look in here, you're going to notice that the top of these fluid in there is covered with oil. The oil acts as a barrier between the water that's inside and the air outside. So part of the normal charge and discharge cycle of a battery is that the water is broken down into hydrogen and oxygen. The oil helps to prevent that from coming out, but it doesn't stop it. So you're still going to have to check your battery level for water levels on a fairly frequent basis until you understand exactly how often you're going to have to add water. The water that you add, nowadays the technology has improved to the point where it doesn't have to be distilled water, but distilled water is the best, then bottled water, then tap water. If you're out in the middle of nowhere and you look down in there and you see the plates, it's more important to have water in there than to worry about the mineralization. So creek water will work. Okay, so I've looked in there and the level is good, so I'll just check the other two cells. And they're both fine as well. The only other maintenance item to worry about with any of these batteries is in the winter time, they have to be removed from your coach and put into a warm place so that the water that's inside of them doesn't freeze. When water freezes in an enclosed space, it expands, it'll crack the case, and you have no warranty on a cracked case. Now let's go and see where it hooks up on the front of the trailer. Okay, so here we are in front of this nice little passport. This is a unit that we've pre-PDI'd, so getting it ready for sale. So right now we have a Group 27 battery on this unit. You put 27 series batteries on units that have slides because they demand extra power. So red is positive, black is negative. That's all there is for hookup. What this fuse is here, it belongs to the tongue jack on the front. So if your tongue jack blows, this fuse may be gone. This particular unit has auto reset breakers on them, so the unit itself has auto reset. So if you ever do something like hook the battery up incorrectly or whatever, this is where it'll take the strain of the mistake, and it'll heat up. And once it cools off, it resets, so you don't have to worry about fuses or anything. Not every unit is like that. Some of them do have fuses that you're going to have to know where they are and check if you have no 12 volt at all. Right now, we obviously have 12 volt. Okay, let's move on to the converter. All right, so now we're inside the unit and I'm going to be discussing the converter. The main purpose of a power converter is to change shore power into 12 volt. When this unit is plugged in, the converter in here will be providing all of the 12-volt power in the unit. You don't even need to have a battery on. However, you should have a battery on, because what the battery is doing is acting as a filter to make sure that all of the power in here stays even and consistent, because this thing will start and stop as it goes. So one of the other features of a converter is that it also has a very good battery charger in it. The battery charger senses the condition of your battery and will give it the power that it needs to either get recharged or to maintain a charge once it's fully charged. So it's a good idea to, before you go camping, a day or two before you go camping, to plug into your house and let the converter recharge your battery. And you can also cool off your fridge at that time. So it cools off better on electric than it does on gas, because that way you're not using propane. So the other feature of the panel is it's where all the breakers for the 110 side and all of the fuses for the 12-volt side are. They're always going to be well marked, so that you can, if you ever have a problem with your electrical system, you can have a look in here and see if one of the breakers is blowing or one of the fuses is gone. Okay, so now let's go talk about Shorecords. Okay, so here we are on the side of the unit, and I am going to show you a little bit about the Shorecord. So this is where the Shorecord comes out on this particular unit. So just reach in there and pull it out. This cord is about 25 or 30 feet long, so it should be plenty to get to whatever connection you're at when you're at a full service campground. So every unit has the option of going on shore power and having the converter run the power, or working off your battery, and if you're out dry camping when you don't have the option of this. It doesn't matter if you're plugging into a wall, a house, or a generator. Shore power is shore power, and that's what this is all about. So this is a 30 amp cord, so three prongs. This is ground, and these are the two power. One's neutral, one's hot. So the idea is that you're going to plug this into either a campground fixture or into your house by using a 30 to 15 adapter that goes over here, and then it plugs in to an extension cord to get to your house. Having said all that, let's move on now to solar panels. Okay, so now I'm going to discuss solar panels not in any great depth, because unfortunately I don't have a unit handy that has a panel on it. However, we will be doing a video about that a little later on. So today, it's a nice sunny day. It's a perfect day to be discussing solar panels. Okay, so there's a couple of different types of solar panels that you can get. The ones that we typically supply are mounted on the roof, and then the regulator takes care of getting the power to the battery. Like I said, we'll discuss that later. The other type of panel you can get is what we call solar on the side. So it's a portable panel that'll set up out here. It's about this high, and then it'd plug into units such as this that are solar ready. Okay, now we're sitting inside this beautiful reflection, and I just want to say a word or two about solar panels. It doesn't matter if it's on the side or on the roof, solar panels work the same way. The power generated by the panel gets regulated through a solar regulator, and then it goes off to the battery. All you're doing with the panel is charging the battery, and then the battery is running it, whatever 12-volt appliance you're using inside, cell phone or whatever you're going to be doing, running the stereo. So a common misconception or something that I hear all the time is, what will that panel run? It's not running anything except power to the battery. So now let's talk a little bit about inverters. Okay, so earlier on we talked about converters and how they take shore power and make it into 12 volt. An inverter does exactly the opposite. It takes your battery power and inverts it into like shore power, so basically 120 volt, so that you could run, say, a TV or a CPAP machine or your entire trailer if you want, if you have a big enough battery back. So the problem with inverters is the way that they work. So if you're taking something from 12 volts and making it into 120, something's got to give. And what gives is, for example, that TV. It has a rating of 2.3 amps per hour when it's running on shore power. If you want to run it off an inverter, that 2.3 amps is going to be multiplied 10 times to get it from 12 volt to 120. So now you're taking 23 amps per hour out of your battery. And the problem with TVs is they're going to be run for a long time. Microwave, much higher startup. So like they take, if you were to use them in offshore power, you're talking 150 amps per hour. You're never going to run one for 150 for an entire hour. Could be running it for 5 or 10 minutes. So that 5 or 10 minutes multiplied by 10 is the same thing as taking basically your entire battery and blowing it on that. So you have to be careful with how you size an inverter and with what power considerations you're going to be using it for. So that concludes our video on your RV electrical system. I know it's a little bit more complicated of a topic, so if you have any questions or concerns, please comment in the space below and I will do my best to respond to you in a timely manner. So until the next time, remember to subscribe to the channel, and good maintenance leads to happy camping.